Hello, everyone. I saw the announcement trailer for Diablo 4 as well as the combat uh, or gameplay thing. I have a lot of concerns based on past history with Diablo 3. Um, I'll go ahead and go over the main points of my concerns with Diablo 3 before going into what I expect with Diablo 4. To start things off, I think that an RPG should be about choices. But unfortunately, Diablo 3 wasn't really much of a choice. In certain ways, each character was pigeonholed into doing a certain build. Take Crusader, for example. Crusader required the accurate set to be able to get their resource generation up high enough to be able to sustain their skills throughout an entire map. Not only that, if you look at any one of the skills here, like Punish or some of this other stuff in here, including the passive skills, like all this is specific to one hand and shield, right? Compare that to the Paladin of Diablo 2. Paladin had the ability to go shield or two-handed because all of their stuff was really versatile. The great thing about Paladin is despite its versatility in Diablo 2, it could match a Barbarian in damage if it went two-handed and might. It was entirely possible. So that's kind of my concern there is I really hope that they don't restrict your choices in Diablo 4 like they did in Diablo 3. I think they should go back to their roots of Diablo 2 and try to replicate something like this. My other concern is just in the mechanics themselves. As I mentioned, you need accurate set for Crusader to maintain a decent amount of resource generation. So I think that they could do something better. I understand that they were trying to move away from mana, at least that's what it looks like on the face of it, but they executed poorly. Here's what I think they could have done to change resource generation if they really are trying to get away from mana. Let's use Paladin for example. Paladin could get Holy Bar or Vengeance if you want to continue the Diablo 3 scheme. But I think Holy should be used more than Vengeance. But anyways, so with Holy, you gain a flat amount of Holy generation, per second. Your Holy generation is increased in the presence of demon or undead. I mean, it's a paladin. It's holy. So that would make complete sense right there. And then that would get you away from the mana. In addition to getting away from the mana, it's not making you reliant on resource generation attacks or these crazy specific builds where you have to have this one specific set item. Like I said, it should be about choices. To me, it's not even an RPG at that point if you're going to pigeonhole a character into doing one set and one skill. If I wanted that crap, I would just go to an MMO. So, okay, rant over about that whole stuff. So, now let's get into a discussion about Diablo 4. I did see that Barbarian's returning, or at least the equivalent of Barbarian is returning. In the combat trailer, I saw that it equipped different weapons, I guess, to correlate with the different skills. Sorceress was in there too. I'm really glad to see Sorceress finally get real CC. That was the problem with Sorceress in D3 is that it didn't really have Wizard. It didn't really have CC. In Diablo 2, it had some CC, but not to the degree it needed to really survive. So I'm guessing that that's going to be a thing. For Druid, it looks like to me that they're trying to take the elemental skills and wrap it into the melee skills. Because I saw lightning coming off the hammer. So if that's the case, then I guess that's kind of cool that you're making like a melee hybrid elemental wielder type of thing. Now, real quickly before I get into some of the other stuff, I just want to say that if they are doing that, they need to be super careful because Druid was a complete failure in Diablo 2. It required way too many attribute points to actually be effective. It was spread way too thin. Now, Amazon was the other one that did require you to be spread thin, but in the Amazon's case, it wasn't a big deal because they were ranged. With Druid, you were melee for the most part. That's where most of your effectiveness came in. So, in that scenario, you don't really have the safety bubble to perform all that. Okay, so moving on. So they've only revealed 3 classes. My guess is that they're going to try to bring back some of the other older classes if the Druid and Sorceress are in there. Because Druid was Diablo 2 expansion. So that was added very late. So that tells me that they're probably trying to add the other Diablo 2 characters. If they are, I'm really glad they are, because Demon Hunter from Diablo 3, I felt was just another pigeonholed class. You only got crossbows and bows and handheld bows. Like, really? With Amazon in Diablo 2, you had more choices. You could go with javelins, which allowed you to wear a shield. That made you a very defensive ranged character. You could go bows if you want to, or you could go melee. You had tons of options as Amazon. And Demon Hunter, not so much. So I would say Demon Hunter is probably the biggest example of being pigeonholed for classes. This was the grossest example of that. Like, I just don't get it. It's an RPG. Give us choices. So yeah, they're probably going to do that. Necromancer's probably going to come back too, which is fine. I don't know if Assassin will come back, but Assassin was kind of under the same boat as Druid. I mean, to a certain degree. It had to have its stats spread thin, but if people want that back, I guess I don't see a problem with it, assuming that they're able to learn from their mistakes of Druid. And yeah, because I don't really see a point of bringing any of these classes back, except maybe Monk. Because Monk was actually fine for once, to a certain degree, but yeah, that's kind of my predictions with all this. Like, I see what they're trying to do, and I just hope that they learn from past mistakes. Is all I'm trying to say throughout this recording. But I'll link this in the description for you, and you're welcome to read through this if you want to. That's all I have. Thanks for listening.